The abiding light to be found in you, Lord. The abiding light. You are our refuge, Jesus, live in me, and may I be found.
The difference between the Christian and the non-Christian is not the sin. But the difference is between receiving the offer of forgiveness, receiving the offer of cleansing, or not. That is the difference. The wicked are wicked not because they do more bad, but because they refuse the good to cleanse them. And the just are not more just because they do more good, but because they have received God's goodness, which justifies them. And that's really this term, just, that we need to focus on. Remember when I was reading for you in Revelation chapter 20, right? Verse 15, it says, anyone not found written in the book of life. So how do you get from the books of judgment of everything that you've done to the book of life? Well, you get there by receiving Christ by faith. And when you receive Christ by faith, your name is then written in the book of life. You are justified by your faith, that you believe that what Jesus has done is the thing to cleanse you of all that is written in those books. It doesn't make them go away. It makes them not then count. Think of you have these interesting pans, these Teflon pans that nothing sticks to. They kind of like the egg and then they do that and it pours out. They never last more than a year and a half, by the way, right? Can I just get a witness there? Yeah. I'm thinking about taking ours back to the store even, I think, yesterday. I was like, man, these things. But anyhow, but the idea is great. Actually, they actually made Teflon-coated dress suits for men too, which were awesome because you could throw stuff at them and just, probably a waste of money. But anyhow, so the idea is that the sins won't stick because you have received the cleansing. You've received the offer of forgiveness. Again, and this is the reason for the word just in this parable, justified by faith. This is one of the 5 pillars of the Protestant Reformation that Martin Luther brought. We in Latin is sola fide, which means only by faith. And according to Martin Luther, justification by faith alone is the article upon which the church stands or fails. And this is good for us to remember. When discussing maybe with people who don't know this or don't believe this, that this is not a matter of human judgment of saying, you're good, you're bad. No. All are bad. But those who have received Christ are now justified by what He did for them. We are here. If you're here and you're a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, if you have given your life to Him, if you've received His sacrifice by faith, then you're saved only because He saved you. You didn't do good enough works to deserve it. You weren't a good enough person. You didn't say good enough things. You were never good enough. It's never been about being good enough. And those who try to walk that path of being good enough, you're doomed because you can never measure up. Have you ever had a day where maybe you said to yourself, I remember when I was a kid, I said to myself, okay, today I'm not going to make all the mistakes from yesterday. I kind of put that stake in the ground. And today I'm going to do it differently. I'm not going to say that thing to my mom when she annoys me. And I'm not going to do this thing to my friend that I did yesterday. And then the day came, and as much kind of mental preparation that I wanted to do, and I thought I could I would usually on those days I would actually fail more miserably. I even remember running track in junior high. I was a terrible track athlete. I had long legs, so they thought I was a distance runner. I wasn't. what they thought I was, because I kind of looked the part, so I'd like be running the mile, and I'd always, before the race, I'd be like, okay, even though the last 10 races I came in last and I threw up, and like this one's going to be different because I'm going to kind of like will myself to kind of be good enough, and I start the race really fast. I'm like out in front of the other guys. I'm like, hey, look at me. 45 seconds later, passing, and it's just, I guess, you can't will yourself into the goodness. You can't explain yourself into blessing. You can't fog your own memory into making things as you hope they were. No, you have to receive a cleansing from something that is outside of you. You are not just on your own. You can only be made just. You can only be justified by faith. And that's why it's so important that we kind of distinguish what we call the things of faith from the things of works. Works are things that believers do after they've been saved. They are the kind of the expression or the fruit of the now saved person in the renewed heart and mind. It is not what comes before. This is very important to understand. It's what comes after. No one is saved by their good works. No one. And I'll say this one last thing. Just as you are only justified because of what Jesus did, the same thing is true, and this is the freeing part I find, is that of when you're dealing with anyone else in this world, that nobody else you've ever met, whether you call them good or bad, and we all do at times, no one you've ever met deserves Jesus' love and forgiveness any more or less than you do. No one. And that's important for the believer because it keeps us, it gives us a nice little slice of humble pie, doesn't it? A piece that we need to eat and to remember, man, I don't deserve the graciousness of the Lord.